Hello, everyone, and welcome to Veterans Talk. I'm your host, Navy veteran D. LaMonica, along with my co hosts, Navy veterans Terrell and M. Brooks. Now, let's get into this Ukraine. Do we care? Should we care? A little background on Ukraine. Right now, Ukraine dominates the news daily. Not as much as it did before, but it's dominating the news. Um, the war is causing food shortages, and there's a fuel crisis going on as well because of this war. Global markets are tanking as we speak because of the uncertainty about the future. And so, one of the things that I saw when I first heard about, the Ukraine in the news was, oh, this poor country, Russia's on its border. I saw when Putin, Russia, was moving those troops close to the border. I knew something was about to go down. Something was about to go down. He wasn't moving all them troops to the border just for that, you know. But what are your thoughts on when you first heard the news on Ukraine and the situation? What was your thoughts on Ukraine? Anybody?
Oh, yeah. So the first time I heard about it, like you said, it was kind of weird that he was putting all these troops on the border. So I did my own little research and realized that it's more than the news was really telling us, because there's a whole pact with border security and neutrality, and those countries along Russia's border were supposed to be unaligned with NATO. So I found it kind of weird that we are getting involved in something that has nothing to do with a NATO crisis or a NATO action. So I kept my eyes on it for a bit, but I knew there's always something greater than we were being told.
What about you, and Brooke?
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I'm like, okay, well, um, there was reports before they even started where, Putin talked about going in and basically taking Ukraine anyway. So I wasn't surprised at, you know, what was developing. Plus, U.S. involvement, I kept wondering why we got involved with somebody that ain't even part of NATO. Like, you know, eh, where was the big news when things were happening in not so Caucasian countries for U.S. to rush to the aid of like Haiti and Somalia and all these other countries that that need help right away. So um, I remember when news was news, but it's more like um, propaganda stuff now.
Right.
TV, high school channel.
So
Yeah.
right.
I got something, a subject we want to talk about, and it's a subject called which developed black country would you like to live in? Would you move to from the United States?
Wow.
We could talk about that.
Mm.
But on Ukraine, this was this is how I saw Ukraine. Okay, I saw it on the news, and then just like the news portrays it, oh, poor Ukraine, the Red Army's coming for them, this poor country, they're not part of NATO, nobody's there to protect them, they got to defend their borders.
I call it the boogeyman
Yeah, pretty
news.
much. Makes you feel sorry. I was like, man, Russia about to pound on them in a little while. And then I went online, and I like reading the stories. When they hit that island up. I looked at that story. I looked it up. When they bombed that island. I was like, man, them boys. They stayed on that island. And they let Russia bomb them and stuff like that. The dude said "F you." I thought that was cool. So then one of the links I went to. Let me open it up. And one of the links I saw was this former MSNBC analyst named Malcolm Nance.
Mm.
joins the fight in Ukraine. He says, I'm done talking. Now, he's a former Navy veteran and MSNBC analyst.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, he going over there, he going over there to fight. And then there was another link for a black Detroit man, 62 years old,
Wow.
62 years old, headed to Ukraine. I'm actually going to fight from Detroit. I'm pretty sure there's a war you can fight in Detroit. I'm pretty sure there's a war you can fight in Detroit. But he's going over there to help Ukraine. And I was like, okay, going over there and fight, that's his, prerogative. And then, one of the links, there's one link that I saw that caught my eye, and it had a word in it that just make you click on it. What do you think that word was? Racism. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's like that's that's like don't press the red button.
Yeah, that's the key word.
Yeah, racism. So I clicked on that link, and oh my, basically the link said racism in Ukraine. I clicked on that link, and oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I was shocked. Because here I am, the news, feeling sorry for this country, and then here are all these links, and I got a few of them I'm gonna share with you. All right. This one is from a website called Brookings, and the headline is "The Russian Invasion of Ukraine Shows Racism Has No Boundaries." We all know racism was over there, but however, I mean, it's pronounced when these African refugees who are over there trying to leave Ukraine
When it
get
hit the
on the
fan,
bus, when they trying to get on the train or get on the transportation, y'all get on the train last.
hmm
Europeans get on first. So I was like, wow, okay. Then another one, the UNHCR chief condemns the discrimination and violence and racism against some fleeing Ukraine. Another one. And that website was the UN News, on the United Nations website.
Wow.
That's on the United Nations website. Another headline: how U.S. and European media language used to describe the Ukrainian crisis reflects deeply rooted racism against non-European refugees. And I don't know if you've seen some of those videos. There was one European correspondent talking, and she was like, "We're not, Muslims who get bombed all the time. We're Europeans." I'm like, "God dang." Okay, so tell
so
me how
she
you
sounds
feel,
like
really feel.
it's expected for the for non-Europeans
Like,
to
how
get
dare you put
bombed.
this on
Yeah,
her?
I was like, oh my goodness. Let me read you this. This isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European country, a city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen. Wow. Okay, so basically he said the Middle East ain't civilized.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's pretty much what he's saying. Just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are Christians or white. Wow. That's that
That's saying it,
website. That's on
saying it where the
Relief.
ghost
That's
can
on
get it.
Relief Web. And of course, our people. They take a slap and turn the other cheek for another slap, all the time,
Yeah, that
all the
keeps on
time.
giving.
You know, everybody want to help, just like these two educated dudes, educated black men who went over there to fight. Now, you got volunteers. You actually want to go volunteer over there. Now, this is a headline from the Atlanta Black Star. It does not justify it. That's what was said. Peace Corps guidance for black volunteers in Ukraine causes a stir after being exposed on Twitter. Basically, you got these Peace Corps volunteers want to go over there and help out the Europeans, volunteering, humanitarian effort. And, during their briefing, basically, they told these volunteers of color, they told them, hey, don't be surprised if you get called the N word over here, because it's normal. It's normal over there. That's what you telling your volunteers to go subject themselves to. And if I was one of those volunteers, I'd have walked out that room right now because I wouldn't be volunteer over there. I'd be praising Putin. But Peace Corps positions in Ukraine are currently not open. But Black Peace Corps volunteers who applied were warned to be prepared to be called the N-word and face other racist behavior while in Ukraine, according to guidance on the Peace Corps website that is currently being discussed on social media. So they telling them right off the bat, this is what you got to deal with when you go over to Ukraine. Now I go back to our two black educated men who are going over there to fight for this European country. It only took me a few clicks to figure this out on my own that I wouldn't raise a finger to go over there to do anything for this country.
So they
Putin can turn it to a glass parking lot for all I care. You know what a glass parking lot out there? TV land? Y'all know what a glass parking lot? That's if Putin was to drop a nuclear bomb on Ukraine and the heat singes the ground so much that it turns to glass. That's my feeling about that country right now. I'm telling you, these and MSNBC analysts, and the other dude, he highly educated in foreign studies, and you tell me they ain't see one of these links about racism, and they still going over there to fight. They seen it, they heard it, they know it, but yet they still going over there to fight. Hey, more power to them. I know I wouldn't raise a finger, wouldn't even bat an eyelash if Putin go with a steamroller through that whole country. But yeah, that's racism in Ukraine, and they want you to support them. They make you want to feel bad about them, but I don't feel bad at all. After hearing about that, Terrell, tell the people about your experience in Ukraine.
We a couple of years ago we pulled into, I think it was Sevastopol, I forget which port it was, but yeah, we were greeted with kids and other people calling us the N-word. But me looking at it, how they interacted with us, it's like they were saying it in a way where it's a term of endearment, but messing it all up. So it came off as disrespectful. We had people on the crew was ready to fight these people, but being in liberty parties and stuff, you're like, oh, hold up, maybe they just trying to relate us to 50 Cent or something that they're seeing in the music, because American music is pretty popular around the world, and it might take that the wrong way, but it was like they were just happy to say it. It was like water rolling off the tongue. It was like Ukrainian N-word, Ukrainian. That's all you heard was that that one thing. It was interesting though. A lot of protests and stuff was going on, but yeah, that's a very interesting thing how they just casually use the word.
Yeah, this from someone.
So is that a different type of welcoming that you got there than what you get
Oh,
right at home?
actually, hard to say. Hard to say.
They ain't coming out there as soon as you walk off the ship say, "Hey, N word."
Yeah,
They saying it like like it's easy. They've been taught that. These kids, they've been taught that stuff. And they know who you are. They know who we are when we pull over there.
hmm
They know if we from the United States. People out there. This is a former Navy veteran. Well, a United States Navy veteran that was in the military that was over there. And like I said before, they know who we are when we come over there. And they call him the N word like it's nothing. That is taught. That's a taught behavior. That's taught. Who raising you? Or we know who raising you. And you know where that behavior come from. They come from their parents, And another guy I served with named Marvin. It's not just confined to Ukraine. We put into France. I put into France twice.
France.
I hated it. I hated it both times. I mean, I don't know what's up with them people. I mean, they don't like us. I mean, they didn't even like the white guys.
Yeah, they don't like
I
Americans at
mean,
all.
they just don't like Americans at all. I mean, I'm
It's a
serious.
long learned behavior in Europe.
I mean, they was rude. They didn't want to do nothing with us. We asked them, hey, how to get to such. I mean, they turn their noses up like,
They start
I'm
speaking
like,
French,
okay,
but then
man,
you hear them
f you,
speaking English
Yeah,
right after.
yeah. But Marvin and McLaughlin and a whole bunch of other people, they chose to ride the train to Paris. I didn't go, you know, but they when they came back from that trip, they talked about McLaughlin and Warren. They was outside the club, about to get going to this French club in Paris, and then the bouncer at the door, he was speaking in French, and then there was a black female outside the door, and she's like, "Y'all know what he just said?" And it's like, "No, we don't know what he said." He said, "We don't let ends in this club."
Wow.
Like, whoa. So of course McLaughlin, once he heard that,
That was subtle.
once he heard that, he wanted to go, basically beat up the bouncer. Pretty sure he could do it. He's a pretty big guy. But Warren, pulled him and they went someplace else, man. But that stuff widespread there. Ukraine, Europe. So if you think you're going to get away from racism here, you probably go get it even more widespread if you go to Europe. Now, we got that racism in Ukraine, and in the United States, of course, is donating billions of our tax dollars, millions, billions of our tax dollars are going over there to support this racist country. You know, of course, we're, you know, we were Department of Defense, and we support and defend the Constitution of the United States, against enemies, foreign and domestic, and all that good stuff. You know, but we never really think about it. It was just a job to us. We don't think about those
Hmm.
things. Um, but it shows you what they really care about. Middle East, United States, they going with guns blazing. They going with guns blazing. They don't care. You know, Mr. Drone will go out there, find his target. Civilians die. It's collateral damage. We had to get them. They don't care about the Middle East. I mean,
So how is Ukraine an asset to the United States?
maybe you can answer that,
How was it?
Terrell.
Uh, from what
I I never
Russia is an asset to Russia because it's a buffer.
yeah,
Basically, it's a
right.
buffer for Russia. That's why Russia doesn't want Ukraine to be part of NATO. That just moves NATO weapons closer to Russia. So if there is a war, that buffer between Russia and Europe, that place is going to be basically the war zone
a new base.
for them
A
to
new,
clash.
Right. It's already is now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
What's the
they
difference?
let it waste, but that's what he wanted. He wanted it as a buffer. Those buffer states when they used to have the old Soviet Union, because Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union. He used to have them buffer states: Lithuania, Latvia, and there's
yeah,
a few others
all the
that go
way up.
down that line all the way up. But that whole buffer area right there is to protect that buffer zone from if there's a war. Now with that buffer removed, we right on Russia doorstep. They don't like that, and they've been telling them about that. I remember I seen Gorbachev talk about it. I mean, that was like a long time ago. Gorbachev, y'all remember
Yeah,
Gorbachev, right? President Gorbachev, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
The
he talked
80s.
about this, and now we still talking about it. Now Putin putting in play like, okay, ain't no more talking now. I'm going in there, But you see, hey, you know, I mean, they put it on the news. Hey, we supporting Ukraine. We giving them this package, these weapons. With the Middle East, it's like we could do behind Osama bin Laden. They help Osama bin Laden. They helped. They helped Osama bin Laden, and then he became one of the greatest enemies
yeah.
They help Iraq. They helped Iraq because Iraq would just gas Iran, and keep them in check.
Yep.
So he helped
Well,
Iraq.
the United States try to picture themselves as a good guy, but behind the scenes, we the real boogeymans.
We the empire.
Putting
In
people in
Star Wars,
power.
we are the empire. That's what we are. We the empire.
Right,
Everybody else is Luke
right.
Skywalker. We
That's
the
true.
empire because we go in there, we bomb the hell out everybody, and then the people we support, we go in there, we kill them.
After you use them for
Saddam,
what you need.
Osama, kill them. Use. We all got it for what they need, what we need them for, and we kill them. Libya.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I, they got some issues, and they was better off when Gaddafi was there. The country was stable, but they went in there, and one of the guys I served with, named Arnell, he was on the McFall. I believe it's the McFall that was out there,
Hmm.
and they unloaded their whole payload of Tomahawk missiles into Libya. Then they had to go into port and load up again, went back out there and unloaded on Libya again. The whole complement of Tomahawk missiles, man. That's $8 million. That's
Sound like the
$9 million
police shooting a black man
a
right
missile out there on Libya. I mean to get rid of Gaddafi, and then Gaddafi. I saw the story in Gaddafi. He changed. He was a smart dude. He's like, okay, these cats, they going after all these other cats. I'm gonna change
there. Hmm.
my I'm gonna change my ways. Basically, that's what he did. And people started uprising, and soon as the United States see they got an opportunity to get rid of somebody, even though this guy, he said, hey, I'm giving up all my chemical weapons. Y'all can come in here and inspect my stuff. And, we good. And they saw that opportunity when them people started uprising. They say, okay, we got him now. So what they do, they go in there, they bomb, they help them. They put a no-fly zone over there, bombed them, killed him too. They go Osama, they go Saddam, they go Gaddafi. And then they tried to do it, and the dude, what was that? Was that Venezuela?
Chavez.
Venezuela. Yeah,
Maduro.
Maduro and
They tried to
Chavez.
do it. They tried to do
Yeah.
it there, but that got squashed somehow or whatever. That messed up. He got him before they got.
Yeah.
But yeah, they was gonna do that too. So they all in these other countries. These
Overthrowing
other
governments.
countries
That's what we're good for. Overthrowing governments.
overthrowing governments. But Ukraine, man, just keep feeding them money. Keep feeding them money. That's why I can't get freaking free health care. Billions of dollars for war. They ain't got nothing for. I ain't got nothing for you for medical. I ain't got
Do
nothing
it.
for you.
Figure it out.
Hmm.
But another thing is they went into when they had Serbian conflict, where Serbia was that I can't remember the
Bosnia,
guy name.
Herzegovina. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. When they was over there, ethnic cleansing, and killing all them people. That's what Clinton.
Oh, were you talking about
Yeah,
Kosovo?
yeah. That's when Clinton was in office, I believe. I believe Clinton was in office, and he let it go on for a little while, and then he's like, okay, we got to go over there and bomb. I was on the Halliburton at the time. But I was over there, out in the water. They start bombing him, and they bombed him in submission. He quit. They eventually got him and put him in jail. I think he died in jail. However, like in Africa, I actually saw the movie Hotel Rwanda. Man, I just looked at it. I was like, dang, my man, they just straight killing people. I'm like it's nothing, just killing people. And the United Nations just stood there. The United Nations
watched.
basically stood there and said, hey, we can't get involved, and they let them people basically slaughter all these people. They got up to like 800,000 people killed, right? And then after months, there's like, it's getting kind of bad over there. I think we need to send some people over there
Publicity stuff.
to
That's
help this
funny you
out.
mentioned that. Was Rwanda part of NATO?
No, I don't think so.
But they didn't get no assistance.
So, but
Ukraine ain't either.
United States, oh, United Nations. Sometimes I wonder what the purpose of the United Nations is. They pick and choose who they want to help.
So go to a boy
Right.
club. You're not a member of the club, you can't get none from us.
So they let those people in Rwanda get slaughtered, and then they, said, "Hey, let's go over there." By the time they got over there, I mean, the killing been over with for months.
How do you establish
know-
a fly zone above somebody else's country?
A sovereign country,
Yeah, that's
a sovereign country. Yeah, and Saddam kept saying, "Hey, this is not in accordance with international." Oh, they know international law. He ain't stupid. He ain't stupid. But yeah, they let Rwanda go on. But anything European country, they'll jump on it quick. And you wonder, okay, you got the European Union, you got France. I mean, really, they hadn't been relevant since Napoleon. And then you got dang Spain, you got Germany over there. I mean, why can't they handle their own issue? That's your European Union.
That's true.
Handle your own issue.
Continent.
Handle Russia. Y'all dump your money over there. Dump your money over there into this country, and you help them. Why does the United States got their fingers in everything?
Yeah, there's some more
Everything.
back behind the scenes stuff I think is going on also with President's son involved with some stuff in Ukraine. I don't know if that's part of it where they're trying to make sure that that country doesn't default because then some people in Washington might lose out on some money. But we don't know. A lot of people got money invested in it.
Well, it's all about the
yeah.
corporations. The United States is just a big
That's
corporation.
a good conspiracy theory because Hunter Biden, he all on Instagram. Them pictures I saw of him, I sort of like him.
Shows a human side.
Yeah, I sort of like him, man.
He's a regular person.
He's just a regular person smoking crack. Weighing crack. God dang.
Yeah, he's about to drop an album next month.
Yeah, man, that was funny, man. Those things on Instagram were funny. All right, but yeah, they focus so much on this country. Now, a lot of you out there would say to us, "Oh, y'all are so cruel. This country's being overran by Russia." They ain't really being overran by Russia. I mean, they holding their own. I got to give them props. I mean, this exposed the Russian military
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't even, this ragtag group of people that's getting borrowed weapons are holding their own against the Red Army. This
Right.
army that was supposed to be so,
Powerful.
one powerful, one of the premier armies out there or militaries out there. And they letting this country hold their own against them. And that's embarrassing in itself. All right.
I think Putin thought it was going to be over within
yeah.
a few days.
But
With
they,
the major
you out
strike.
there will probably say, y'all should be ashamed. Y'all should, the children over there, they're going through, and I understand that they're going over there, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you, people out there, when we go over on these $1 billion technological terrors you call a United States Navy ship, and we pulling out to sea, and you're on the pier waving those flags, saying, support the troops. Would you out there, you're supporting us going over there, killing men, killing children, killing women, destroying countries in the name of democracy. That's what you when you out there supporting us, that's what we doing. We ain't going out there to have a picnic. We going out there
Right.
with missiles blazing, going out there to lay waste to any country that we have to go against. That's what you supporting.
Marines ready to deploy and shoot up everything.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
And I know they itching to get out there. Man, my
Right.
thing, if you put the United States military, Marines on the ground against, man, they would steamroll over the Russian military. The way they looking now. I mean, they getting generals getting killed like it's nothing, man. I'm like, God dang. I mean, we just steamroll over the Russian military. But nobody can do that. You can't do that because Putin got the ultimate trump card. He got the ultimate, you know, card in his pocket, in his back pocket. You know why nobody go touch him? Because he owned the largest arsenal of nuclear bombs on this planet.
Yep.
So he can send as much
Right.
people to their deaths as he want. Ain't nobody go touch him, cause he say, hey, I'll push that button right there. Don't even think about stepping across that line. You know.
And mutually assured destruction. That's the only thing that's stopping damn
Yeah.
what's that thing? Skynet from dropping missiles all over the place.
Yeah, that's
That
it.
mutually
That's
assured
it.
destruction.
Yeah. But yeah, we're a product. So I mean, when we over there shooting missiles, and this how it go.
We
This how it
just
goes.
doing
For
to
you
what we're
people out
tasked
there,
with.
this is how it goes. All right, we're out there in the middle of a ship, in the middle of the water, Red Sea, Eastern Mediterranean, Persian Gulf, wherever, and the ship will get tasking. When that ship get tasking, everybody's like, oh wow, ooh yeah, yeah. You've been training so
Excited.
long, doing all this training, and finally you get to shoot a missile. You get to shoot a missile. You get to kill people.
You don't even think of that part.
Basically, you don't even
There's
think
no
about it.
there's no sad faces on there.
No sap. Everybody's. I remember when we was on the Porter. What is it, Porter? Right? We was on the Porter, and the strike officer, she was somewhere flying back over, and she told the captain. The captain came over to one MC. She said the captain was like, she said, I can't remember the strike officer name, but she said, "Hey, don't y'all fire no missiles without until I get there." It was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, she did get there, and you got tasking, that day, and hey, they said the missile will be shot at this time, and then y'all can go on the midships and watch the missile shoot. So I was like, wow, man, this is cool, man. Everybody excited. We get to shoot a missile. For people out there, for us, this is exciting. And just to put this in the context, where this missile go, people probably gonna die. Men, women, children, we don't know. They're going somewhere, but somebody gonna have a bad day. All right, but we having a good time. We having a real good time. So this missile, you go on the midships. It's usually the dark at night, and then the missile, the horns go off, and this missile come out. What I mean? It's like fire, smoke, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it look when they say what a man saying Gladiator. It's like rain down hell or something. That's what it looked. It looked like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hellfire will rain
yeah.
down upon
That's what
thee.
it looked like. It looked like hell. I mean, hell. This missile looked like coming out of hell. Goes up, turns on its side, and shoots off into the night. And then the next thing over the loudspeaker on the ship, when we done send out this missile to do its job of killing people, whether it be men, women, and children, the captain comes, or somebody comes on the loudspeaker and said, ice cream and popcorn is being served on the mess decks.
Right.
And everybody go down and have some ice cream, watch popcorn,
Not even thinking
not
of
Nope.
the
even
aftermath.
thinking about it.
Never on your
Not
mind.
even thinking about it.
You don't train for that part. You just train for the execution part, but not the
Yeah,
aftermath.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, to piggyback on that further, I was part of a squadron, and I go up into the flight room, and where the pilots come back and they take a look back at the videos from the drops they made on buildings and armaments and all this, and they looking at all this, and they getting geeked. High five!
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we just dropped this payload off.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, boom! You see areas around it in smoke. It's like, okay, so not even thinking about, okay, who was actually there standing around while you
Don't
just
even think about it.
annihilated this
Not
building?
even thinking
Who
about
was
it.
in
Don't
it?
even care. Don't even think about it. I'm thinking about, damn, what they gonna have to put on this ice cream and all kind of sprinkles they could have on this popcorn. And oh man, they could be watching CNN. We get to see, our handiwork. Because I think that was during Shock and Awe,
Yeah,
that Shock
shock and
and Awe
awe.
campaign.
Yep.
But yeah, they had CNN, and the missiles came raining in, everybody eating ice cream, having a good time, yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is what we do. We don't think about this stuff, So if you're out there criticizing us, saying that you should have heart, trust me, this is what we do. This is what we did when we was in the military. We didn't think about it, and you didn't think about it when you were saying support us. Because when you supporting us going over there to do some dastardly deeds out there, and you don't want to know about it as long as somebody else is doing the bad deed. All right. So, but yeah, that is what I think about Ukraine. I don't care. I've seen all the racism that's going on there. I've read about it. We got a veteran here that's been over there that experienced it. I mean, they got kids. They're already teaching their kids. They already know, the N word. Like everybody know the N word. But we got a show on that too. We got something coming up on that too, the N word. But like I said, we're a product of the military. We don't think about, women, children, kids, different things of that nature, when it comes to war, because,
You never trained for
basically
that
people
part.
die.
Yeah.
We ain't trained for that part. I'm not trained to feel sorry, that we going over there.
Be have compassion and
No,
empathy.
no, not really. And just like Ukraine, with this racism, like I said before, um, I do not care what Putin do with this country right here. Hey, United States, have at it. You know, I got respect for them because they holding their own against the Red Army. You got any final words for Ukraine? Anybody?
I just hope it gets wrapped up soon because this is taking a lot of attention from matters that are important back home.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
real news. Right.
That's for I mean, we're always in somebody else's business.
Because the
Always in some other country's business.
thing is, this could have got wrapped up from February. All they had to do was just say, hey, we're not going to join NATO. That's all Putin asked for.
Yeah.
Don't join NATO. This could have been done from February. We wouldn't have been in
Okay.
this gas crisis,
I
food
mean,
crisis, debt crisis. It's like it's being planned, like waste as much money as possible before we collapse the the treasury.
and my thing is, we got to give them this, got to give them that. I'm pretty sure they got a lot of money with all that grain they got. They selling this grain to somebody. I mean, they got a treasury too.
Yeah.
I mean, are they buying these weapons from us? Or we
No,
lending it to them?
so we're giving them the money so they could buy the weapons from us. Because if we give them the weapons, we're breaking NATO treaties. So they have to basically fund their own weapons. But guess who's getting the money? The defense industry back home. So it's like
Of course.
you're funneling the money right back into certain people's hands.
Go ahead, buy
It's
stock.
a it's a
Advance.
big the military industrial complex is a big beast.
Oh,
It's a
man.
big beast.
That's why
You
I
don't
say
want to touch with it.
war drives the economy.
Yep.
Well,
Job creation.
I wouldn't say right now, but it's driving. But my thing is this final thoughts on Ukraine. Um, I'm pretty sure we respect the valiant war effort and spirit by President Zelensky and Ukraine from one soldier to another. They have exposed the Russian military as inept and ill-equipped to combat a country that is not capable of sustaining a long war without the support of United States and its NATO allies. For that, I mean, they got our respect. However, from our discussions on if we care about the war in Ukraine, you already know how we care, what we care about the war in Ukraine. We do not at all. Rampant racism, a lack of caring for black or brown countries unless they have oil, and our military mindset is why we don't care. There was a one line I remember from the movie Full Metal Jacket. The dead only know one thing, that is better to be alive. And I mean that's a true statement, when you looking all over them bodies,
Very.
maybe he's looking over them
Yeah.
bodies, all them dead bodies. But always remember, in war, there are always deaths on both sides. Even if a group or country declares itself the winner, when it comes to the death toll, everyone will lose because that country is totally devastated. They could be once they
Hmm.
if they stop, because they don't look like they ain't stopping no time soon. They could be rebuilding this country
Yeah.
for a long
Oh,
time.
we're gonna rebuild it.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna rebuild it, with our healthcare money, our money for
USA
education and
Corporation.
schools. We go rebuild this country. But that's it on Ukraine. Again, if you're out there and you do your due diligence when you're watching the news, all right. At the beginning, I felt sorry for this country being threatened by the Red Army out there, being threatened by Russia. But then I dug, not even deep. I mean, it was right there. I read a couple of stories, and then I saw one line that says racism in Ukraine. I clicked on it, and I was like, okay. So there go my sympathy meter just went super low because I have no sympathy for Ukraine whatsoever. So let us know if you care or you don't care about Ukraine in the comments below. Give us a like or dislike, but explain why. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out our webpage that is coming for free downloads, items for sale, and upcoming topics. Thank you for listening to Veterans Talk. For me, D. LaMonica, Terrell, M. Brooks, we wish you fair winds and falling seas throughout your week. And please join us again for Veterans Talk. Thank you.
Someone say, Pope, I ain't no joker. Sucker, this ain't no joke. I'm fattening like Nutri-Sweet Crystal. I'm the light. We gon' miss you. You need a plumber. Here is my number.